All right, back in Flight Simulator, which is turning into Racetrack Spotting Simulator. Um, Here we are. As you can see, I have found an airport with a racetrack. Instead of a racetrack being built on an airport, like we've seen many different places, where Cleveland and was it Tampa Bay, whatever the town is. I can't even think now. My brain is broken. Here we are in Ona, West Virginia. And so I did a little research, and you can see the small 3/8 mile track. Obviously, we're not getting any of the banking and any information like that. The stands aren't getting created. They've all turned out a little bit green. We got this very tiny narrow strip right next to it in the valley. And yeah, this is the only paved racetrack in West Virginia. And it's got a very unique history. It's actually held cup races here. Richard Petty has won 300 lap races and a 500 lap race here, at least. He might have won more. This little chunk of concrete back here, behind the main grandstands, this is very interesting. This is part of a bigger planned racetrack. This was supposed to be the backstretch of a 1.3 mile oval. The front stretch was going to be over here. There was going to be a football field in between pit road and the front stretch so that it could work as a dual purpose type thing. And I'm going to bring this up on screen right now. Here is what they had wanted to do. So you got the 3/8 mile track where it was, and then you can see the backstretch that I pointed out. And this was going to be kind of a unique track. They said it was going to be 32 degrees banking, and it's kind of disappointing we never got this. But then again, this track isn't really near a whole lot of anything. This was back in the 70s when they were trying to do that. So that would have been a pretty big track for the era, and a very unique pit road, as you'd have to make a right turn in and out of it, a left and a right, and then a right and a left to get on track. So that was pretty interesting to come across. Supposedly there's an interstate somewhere by, I'm guessing it might be this. They did not get a direct exit off of this interstate, which just ended the whole planned track. But there you go. Just random find, did a little research, and that's what it came up with. So, a story I would have never known about had it not been for doing these little videos. So, pretty cool. That would have been a really neat track to have. It wouldn't have lasted, but it was kind of a cookie cutter, pre-cookie cutter track. So, interesting to come by. And now we're going to go fly, take off here. I am just going to start this thing the easy way. Get it fired up. And we are headed off to a couple of dirt tracks in southern Ohio. So we're going to go meet up with the Ohio River. Right now we are on, I think it's the, what river are we even on? Well, there's a mud river that's going right next to the track. I think that might be what this is. I don't know. There's a bunch of little creeks and everything coming off of here. Anyways, we're going to meet up with the Ohio at Huntington, and then we're going to follow that up, and we should find a little dirt track, Wheelersburg Raceway. This looks maybe like it's a go-kart track. Don't really have a whole lot of information on it. Might be closed down as well. But we're gonna go past that, and then that's gonna take us up to Portsmouth, however you want to say it. That will take us to a popular racetrack that a lot of people know about. And then we'll see where we're at on time, and we might be able to get up to another track. So I'm happy that, you know, just finding this airport. The airport was built in '87 here, so it was never part of the plan of the racetrack or the big racetrack, although they could have easily built it in the middle once it failed, I guess. But yeah, very interesting story. Glad I found that out. I know a couple of people were talking about the stuff that I'm using for flying, like setting the RPM or the mixture in RPMs a little lower, cowl flaps. Yeah, I could do that. I mean, I'm not concerned with fuel efficiency, and I'm not trying to do 100% simulation flying. I'm just having fun looking around at a map, in an airplane, in a video game. So, looks like we got to get ourselves turned around. We could taxi all the way onto the racetrack. It's kind of weird to see they've got little roads over to the racetrack as well. But we're going to go ahead and take off and see what else we can find. Make sure all my controls are set right. Let's get this. Okay. Just making sure everything's working right. There was an update, and it seemed like a lot of people were angry that things weren't working normal, but I've been lucky enough not to have too many issues with the updates. They just did a new world update for France and that region. It does seem like my frames are a little lower, but we're just gonna hit her with a wing, I guess. But we should be fine for this flight. So do I even know which way the wind is? Looks like no wind. Alright, we're just gonna take off in the direction we're headed, so we're gonna head down to this side of the runway. This runway is extremely narrow, but not a whole lot of room to work with around here. So this is the pit area for the racetrack over here, and then general admission parking is there. You're not allowed to come in on this road, I'm told. There's like a dirt road off on the other side. So I think this place was closed for a while in the 80s and 90s because NASCAR quit coming to it, so then you lose a lot of good income, and now it's running late models, legends, street stocks, I think. We'll go see if we can find these other places. Doesn't look like the weather's too terrible. And let's go ahead and take off. This might be a fairly quick video. Because all three of these tracks are fairly close to each other. Have no idea where we're gonna land. So I'll have to figure that out. Should push us off to the right just a little bit if the wind is like that. Gear up. Gotta climb out of here pretty quickly. And then we'll see where the river is. I think it's off to our right. We got that interstate that we saw off to our left. Let's go ahead and take a peek off to our right. We're good there. I forgot to do that. Okay, we're at 1,500 feet. We're above everything that we should be above. Let's go ahead and, just so that this is a little bit smoother for the video, hold altitude and then heading. Yeah, we're not going to do heading. We got the river over there. I'm not even going to turn autopilot on right now. It seems like the joystick is working like I want it to at the moment. Trim this out just a bit. That way I can just release the stick, and then we can bring the throttle back just a little bit. RPM's down to 87. Bring the mixture down. Still trying to understand how to use the EGT to determine where I need to go on mixture. Assuming someone who watches this will know. Tried to have my brother and my dad explain it, but they explained it like I knew what I was doing, and it made no sense. Here we are. The racetrack is way back there. Actually, 2 interstates or highways crossing and meeting up there. Frames are definitely a little lower than last time I flew, so I'm gonna have to work on the graphics just a little bit. Get over here to the Ohio. Let me pull up this. Yeah, we're still gonna take us a bit of time. Cow flaps up. And we got to go over here, meet the Ohio, and then go around the bend. That'll take us up to the first racetrack. So I think this will be a good 30-minute flight. I do need to figure out where the hell we're going to land. Usually something you want to know before you take off. Let's see. We've got a... Okay, we got an airport north of Portsmouth. That is, that'll work out for us after we check out the track. Let's hop back outside, take a look. Is this where University of West Virginia is? Honestly, I've quit paying attention to college football since they quit making college football games, and I don't remember most of the towns anymore now. Alright, need to get the heading on because this thing is annoying me now. That way we can look outside and enjoy the scenery. So see if what's that? Marshall? Okay. We are where Marshall plays, although the stadium is flat. Not a photogrammetry town. All AI generated. So that is the Ohio we're on. And big freeze up there. It's not good. At least the weather's not terrible. Can use real weather, not have any rain or anything. have along this river that might be interesting to point out? We are going to be crossing into Kentucky right around the bend up here. Go ahead and get us turned a bit. But just going to be a whole lot of little towns along the river. You know what? Actually, this flight might not take that long. Just looking at it, I think that is where we're headed already, just up there. Yeah, this could go a lot quicker than I thought. We're gonna shortcut over. Not that much. Overshot. Oops. Sorry, trying to zoom in on the map over here to see exactly where that first track is. Quick look outside, and just a lot of hills with random houses atop of them. Some on top, some in the valleys. Many, many trees. So we should have Ashland up here. There should be an airport on the left side of the river. And then our first racetrack should be right around there. Let's see if I can find anything on this racetrack while I am while we're headed there. Yeah, so this is a 5th mile high banked go-kart track that we're headed to. It may be difficult to see, depending on what all's around it on the photo and what the AI thinks. Looks like they are still racing, so not shut down. And then everyone racing theirs, hoping that one day they'll get to go to Portsmouth, whatever way you want to call it. And obviously they run all the big things. How big is this track? Can I find out anything about it? History. Well, this is an interesting start to the history of it. If you got a chance, go look at the history of this. This is a really interesting way to write the history of a racetrack. Talking about white man running the Indian off the land, which is all of America, and then a farmer pretending to be a farmer. But yeah. It was built in 91, and then, yeah, looks like it's been open since 3/8 mile, your regular dirt oval every single one in the world is 3/8 mile, it seems like. So, another river town. Probably steel industry off to the side. And, yeah, this is gonna be... What the hell town is this? That is Ironton. So yeah, I assume steel plant. Cross over here. This is going to get us to Ashland, Kentucky, which is all of this off to the left. Airport is right there, because the only place to build an airport when you got this many hills. Got a hell of a rail yard here. Roundhouse and everything. And then as we come up across this bend, we're gonna be getting closer. So Highway 52 is what we got underneath us, that 4-lane road. And then the racetrack that we're going to is at Allentown. Or at least that's the name that's popping up here. It's just south of Wheelersburg. There's a little airport down there. Much bigger than the one we took off at, though. A lot of people hoping there's never a flood here. I don't think I'd want to live on a river in a valley like this. So we'll cut across here, and once we meet back up with the river, it should pretty much put us at the racetrack. So I'm sure this was something that was built after Portsmouth was built, maybe, you would think. Maybe if we have time. Actually, we're going to be able to. We'll pick up another racetrack. I don't know if it's still racing, but Southern Ohio Speedway looks to be... Looks like it might not be a thing anymore. Especially from the aerial view, it looks like it's kind of washed out now. See if there's any activity on. Last post was due for unforeseen circumstances. We were pushing things back. That was 2017. I believe that is probably no longer operational, like many dirt tracks over the last 20 years. Alright, so our little go-kart track should be right up here. Go ahead and get us headed in that direction. Definitely think I'm going to buy a new stick in a couple of months. A high quality one, if I do more flying. It's really hard for me to spend money on flying, because I get in these moods where I want to do a lot of flying and then I just don't fly for months. but these exploring adventures videos, they're making me really enjoy it, and kind of learning the history of racetracks, kind of through viewers and through just my own research. So if you've got information on these tracks, you know, post in the comments. I just kind of like learning, you know, I mean, that Ona Speedway thing, that was just crazy how they were going to make a massive track there. Alright, so maybe here, or maybe up here. I don't think it's this, because that looks like a whole lot of nothing at the moment. Yeah, that just looks like a pile of dirt. Don't see a racetrack there. There it is. Tiny little thing down here, 5th mile. That is in some flood territory. There you go. Lots of these around the world. Well, around the U.S. at least. 5th mile dirt track for karting. There you go. There's our second racetrack on this little adventure. Not very far from the next one. Now see, this place, when I seen it, I was like, hey, that looks like it could turn into a nice little old school road course. Kind of like old Silverstone-esque. Obviously not what it was built for. I think our next track's over there. Let's get turned. Head to Portsmouth. So this is on the very far side. We've got the U.S. Grant Bridge, which I think is his first bridge. Obviously this is all AI generated, so I don't think it's going to look like what it's supposed to look like. You know what? It's not actually that. I mean, it's, I guess, a bridge. I didn't think it would be a suspension bridge like that, but it is, so. Not too far off. But over here, the railroad is now on the other side, and massive rail yard there. Looks like we got a little fog sitting over the track. But the second bridge is right next to the racetrack. Kind of in this mouth of a river coming into the Ohio. So I'm guessing this track is a little bit sandy. You know what? I don't think, is that fog or is that fog on the aerial photo? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Is this not? Looks like we might be getting into... Nope, it's working. Thought we were going to get some, like, crappy AI-generated actual stuff, but... very off-looking. The track is green. it looks like this thing has been flooded by a massive mess of sand. I can't even tell which part is the track and which isn't. Let's go ahead and turn around. That's unfortunate. I think that's the worst one we've seen. So I got worried that like this yellow here was AI generated terrain, because that can happen. What is, oh, that's a school. I was like, racetrack, no, it's a track. I think these hills and stuff are getting a little higher too, but yeah, there's definitely something wrong with the aerial photography on this map. We've also got, this is funny when you see it, there's a jet flying across the photo. So, you see the contrails and the jet coming across. We did not get turned enough, sorry. Luckily we're high enough. These hills, mountains, whatever you want to call them, are getting much higher around this area. So, unfortunately, this was a bit of a failure. And how do you even get to that track? Is it this off-ramp here? I think we're better off just staying farther away from that track. Looks pretty bad on this view, so let's go check out whatever the other one was called. Southern Ohio. Hey, wrong way, get turned east. Alright, well that is turning east. I'm gonna go take a quick look to figure out where we're going again. There it is. So we're gonna go to the bend, and then we're gonna look for some bigger buildings coming out that, or not bigger buildings, but a bigger road. That's going to take us to Southern Ohio, and then to the airport that we're going to land at. Been an interesting trip. Unfortunate that we got our first racetrack that looked really bad. Up here, and then we're going to turn, and the racetrack should be there. The speedway should be, or the airport should be to the left, and we should be able to just land straight in from the racetrack. Always a good pairing to have a racetrack and an airport close together, because if they're complaining about noise from the racetrack, then they're probably complaining about noise from the airport, and it's a lot harder to shut down an airport. And so what's the big deal if you got a racetrack next to it as well? So this little valley here is going to be where the airport is. You can see the flashing lights over there. I think the racetrack is that patch of light dirt right there. Just a lot of tracks in this area, but obviously having two that close, one of them's usually going to get hurt if they're trying to run the same classes and everything. Back off on speed, and then I can bring my altitude down just a bit. Take a look. We've got, yeah, we got enough room to do a quick little look-see over this, and then get in line with the runway. Go ahead and autopilot off. Take the gear warning off so that I can kill a bit of speed. in line with the airport. We'll do a little left turn over the racetrack and then a right turn to line ourselves up with the airport. We're too low right now for approach. That's fine though, we'll correct that as we get closer to it. Not going to be able to hop outside to look at this one, but it is obviously washed out, run down. Hasn't got the grass growing on it yet. It's got a few trees placed on it by AI, but you can see what looks to be turn 1 and 2 is washed out and messed up there, so looks like it was, I don't know, they got a bunch of tires on the inside too. It may have just been a very old track that no one wanted to update with safety features, but I'm sure someone in the comments will know the history of it. We're gonna head over here and land and call that it for the video. All right. Two red, two white. Perfect. Lined up. Slow down. A little to the left right now. It's getting choppy. It might just be my controls though. Another click of flaps. Final click of flaps. A little low. Hold it at 80. Split the trees. I assume these are not this big of trees at the end of the runway, because that's a bit dangerous. Getting thrown around. Way too high now. Cut the engine. Drop, drop, drop. That'll bounce. Not terrible. Not on the center line at all. We got a bus out there waiting for us. I really don't want to go taxi all the way down there, so we're just going to do a quick U. And there you have it. Get turned here. What do we get? 4 racetracks. One of them closed down, one of them a go-kart track. All within 30 minutes of flying, and probably not much longer with the interstates that connected all of them together. So, park ourselves over here, and let's just quickly, how long is this video right now? We're at 39 minutes. Let's see if I can quickly pop up over to this racetrack that we just blasted past. And there you have it. So, yeah, this thing looks like it's shut down. No activity on its Facebook page. Looks like they've, I don't know, like they've added a smaller bit to it. Maybe it used to be longer, then they tried to shorten it, because obviously longer tracks die quicker because more money, more power, more wins. So shorter track makes it a little more, it's essentially long tracks equal open setups, pay for setups to win. Short tracks equal fixed setup racing. Kind of. It's like an equalizer, I guess. And, you know, we see what sim racing does when someone thinks they have to pay to go fast. You know, everyone's looking for an excuse for why they're getting beat. So long tracks die, and maybe they tried to shorten this up, or maybe it's just a weird photo. But there you have it. Hope you enjoyed that. And if you got suggestions for where I should go, put them in the comments. I've got a bunch of different requests already, so it could be months before we get to them. But hope you're enjoying these. Trying to connect the two and give myself a bit of a break from racing, because it can get to me, and I don't want to get too angry. So thanks for watching.